Hello. So, how do you know? How do we know if we are setting ourselves up to be let down again? This is something that I hear regularly. This is something that very, conscious women doing a lot of the work on themselves, recognizing that they have a degree of participation in creating the unfulfilling experiences that they might be having in their lives, especially when it comes to dating and relating. And so there's this question of like, how do I know? How do I know if by opening my heart to this person, if it's welcome, Balakay, welcome. How do I know if I open my heart to this person, if it's somebody that I can entrust? Like, how do I know if I'm setting myself up to get let down? So I want to say hello. I'm Gabriella Taylor. I'm a relationship specialist. I'm the founder of Extraordinary Love Transformational Educational Programs for Women. And I thought I would just pop in here for a couple of moments. Hey there. I would pop in just for a couple of minutes to answer this question. I'm specifically answering this question here inside of my new private invite-only Facebook group. Hey Jill, good to see you. Extraordinary Love Relationship Coaching for Conscious Women. So I invite you to come on over and join us. It's a private Facebook group that it's dedicated exclusively to me having one-on-one interaction with women only that are really seeking support, guidance, having to do with their relationship life, their capacity to expand their intimacy, to really create a relationship of their dreams. Jill is one of our beautiful members here, so happy to see you live right now. Hey, Start with Steph, welcome, lovely to see you. And so like I said, come on over and join us in our Extraordinary Love Relationship Coaching for Conscious Women Facebook group. If you are a conscious woman, single in relationship, that's really looking for sincere guidance as to how to both call in the love of your life, or if you're already in a relationship, how to up-level it and improve it. So with that said, how do I know if I'm setting myself to be let down again? So this is something that a woman who had asked me inside of this Facebook group, she had private messaged me about this, and so we've all been there, right? Like, especially I remember when I was dating, I've been with my Nicholas for 9 years now, but I remember when I was dating that it was something that I often wondered about. It's like, how do I know if this is somebody that I can trust with my heart? How do I know if this is somebody, that's good for me? Because there is this risk involved, especially if we're dating with the intention of meeting our life partner. There is this risk involved where we don't really know if that person can hold our hearts. And so what we as women typically do is we forget that there are signs to hold our hearts. And this extends to friendships, this extends to romantic relationships, this extends to any people that we're thinking of, to how much of myself, of my innermost self, can I really reveal. Innocent yet naive kind of concept having to do with relationships that assumes that if there's connection, then that means that there's emotional safety. And they are not mutually compatible. We may have connection with people. We may get along with people, have a good laugh with people. We may, really be able to rely on people for certain help me with errands, practical things. That does not mean that those same people can hold our hearts, that won't disappoint us when we're really vulnerable, when we really are in a time of need, when we are essentially opening the door for greater intimacy. Because the way intimacy is established essentially is like, I'm opening myself a little bit. I'm seeing if you're able to come in and hold me and hold what you see. If you come forward, if you're safe, then we have an intimate moment. If when I open myself vulnerably and you either walk away or you seem horrified or you poke my tender innermost bits with a stick, then that tells us that that is not somebody that can hold your heart, and that is somebody that won't let you down. So I want to give you an example, because I know when you're for a lot of us, when we are dating, or even with girlfriends, like this happens a lot with friendships, with girlfriends, one of the things that we want to look for is how the person in mind, right? Like, this person, am I setting myself up to be let down? Here's this person, I think I want to get closer to them. How do I know if I should let them in? And this can apply to romantic relationships. This can apply to friendships. This can really apply across the board when human relationships are involved. And so one of the things that has been in my field lately, as I had shared, is that Nicholas Brown is my beloved, just the love of my life. We've been together for almost 9 years now. We were spiritually married several years ago. We became formally engaged a year ago on Monday, and we're in the process of planning our wedding for 2020. And so we've been starting to have some celebrations, some engagement celebrations. And now I'm a very sensitive empath. I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies that I can turn on, but my nature is one where I work best with small, intimate groups of people. So we're looking at having all of these satellite gatherings to celebrate our engagement of 15 to 20 people. So instead of having, a big engagement party and a big wedding, we're doing small things. So we're in the small engagement party celebration mode of things. And one of the things that I've learned is one of the gatherings that we put together, I had made blanket invitations to people that I know and love without looking for, is this somebody that can hold our hearts? There are these people that really have the capacity to give energy to us and hold the magnitude and the magic of the experience, or is this somebody that just does not roll through life that way? So one of the events that I had created, like I said, I invited just this list of people without really using that filter. And so what happened? I was let down. I was disappointed. While they're people that I know, that I love, they're people that I already knew did not have the capacity based on prior experience. They're people that I've known for some time that did not have the capacity to really hold for what the intention was in this particular engagement celebration. Does that mean anyone's bad or wrong? No. Does that mean that anyone's at fault? No. That means that there's an opportunity for me to use a higher level of discernment of inviting people into this very special period of my life and these very special events in my life that I already know has the capacity to hold my heart, to hold our shared intention, and really can give us energy in the celebrating the significance of this time in our lives. So how do we know? What do I look for? What do you look for if you're dating? Hey, Chad Mooring, welcome. And so what do we look for? What is it that tells someone that we can entrust them with holding our hearts, especially when we need them, to prevent disappointment? Because usually disappointment comes not only when we have an expectation, because expectations, I think, get a bad rap, because the reality is we all have expectations. It's what we do. We have hope. There's things that we long for. There's things that we appropriately would expect our loved ones to be able to be with us around. Yet where disappointment comes from, the error is not in having an expectation. The error is looking at, is the person who I am expecting to show up for me, do they have capacity to do so? And from there's opportunity to communicate it. So for example, what do we look for to tell if somebody has capacity? We look at their track record. We look at how, if you've ever had any, conflicts or difficulties with them in the past, how have they been with having, it's a term called carefrontation, not confrontation, but if we've had carefrontations where we've had to have a meaningful conversation, as Gay Hendricks calls it, a sweaty 10-minute conversation, how have they behaved when we've had a carefrontation, a sweaty conversation that made us uncomfortable, but it was a truth-telling conversation? That's one thing that we look for, is how did they do in those moments of honesty? Did they come forward? Were they open? Were they defensive? Did they shut down? So that's one thing to look for. In terms of track record, we look for number two, we look for how they move through life. Do they have healthy, flourishing relationships? Are they people that operate more as lighthouses, where they are islands and they're sort of single travelers? They maybe haven't been in a relationship for decades. They don't really have a lot of deep, close friends. Maybe they don't have a level of stability in their life. So we look at their life. Are they somebody that seems to be anchored in their ability to have deep, meaningful, trustworthy connections connections with the people around them. So we look at our track record and the track record of their life, and then we also look at them as a whole. Like when we tune in, and just right now you might have somebody in your mind that you're thinking about, whether it's somebody that you're dating, whether it's a friend that you're hoping perhaps can support you through something that you're going through, whatever it is, just think of that person, just bring them to mind right now, and just check in and just sense into, is this person that I intuitively feel has the ability to hold me? Do they have space for me? Are they able to attune to me? Can they listen to me? Or do they have empathy? Do they have understanding? Are they able to really take things in, or are they reactive, defensive? Do they run away? So just tuning in and tuning into this person that you might be thinking of, just feeling in and asking yourself, do I feel that this is somebody that can hold my heart, that has capacity to hold my heart? Or is this somebody that I feel safe enough to ask and invite if they have capacity to hold my heart? So this is how we know if we are setting ourselves up to be let down again, when we bypass looking at the track record, we bypass looking at the track record of how they move through life, and where we bypass our intuition, because chances are every single one of us, like, we have a sense, we have a feeling. Like when I reflect on the example that I was telling you about, the individuals in which I was feeling disappointed by, I could have told you from the beginning that the likelihood of that happening was really high. So I intuitively knew it. So the gig here is, the way that we don't set ourselves up to be let down is to really listen to what our instincts, our intuition are telling us, to look at the person as a whole person, as to how they move through life, and what has been our track record from them. Is there any level of shiftiness when we've come closer to being honest, real, open, vulnerable with them? So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this, both in how do you normally see that you typically set yourself up to be let down? What are some of the things that you bypass, that you don't, that maybe you see but you kind of look the other way? Or what can you take from this, and where do you see that you can apply it in your life? Is it with somebody that you're in relationship with? Is it somebody that you're dating? Is it a friend? Is it somebody in your personal life? So I'd love to hear how that is for you. And so again, I'm signing off here, Gabriella Taylor. I welcome you over to my private women's only Facebook group that I've newly started, that is a beautiful resource center for conscious women. We're having some really beautiful conversations in there. It's called Extraordinary Love Relationship Coaching for Conscious Women, and it's a place where I provide how-tos, tutorials, teaching, Q&A coaching. I do a Facebook Live once a month answering whatever your hottest questions are having to do about dating and relating. It's where you're the first to know about special offers that on any of my programs. And I'd love to see you over there. I'd love to continue this conversation. It's a beautiful way to create connection. It's a beautiful way to create community. And I will be signing off. I am going into the 8th session here of my 8-week Foundations of Extraordinary Love transformational program, which is an extraordinary 8-week program, which really, it gives women a reset button in how they've been relating to relationship. It's an opportunity to look at everything that they've been bringing into relationship, the old beliefs, the old stories, the old assumptions, kind of, empty the backpack, see what's in there, and wipe the slate clean. So I'm going into our 8th session of tonight in about 7 minutes of our summer session. The next one is enrolling already. We'll be opening doors for enrollment very soon. We start in October. So if you're interested, would love to invite you to pop on over. Again, come into my Facebook group, and you'll be the first to know about that, especially with some special bonuses and juicy discounts as well. So I'd love to see you there, or reach out to me, send me a message if you would like to learn more. All right, goodbye, God bless. I shall see you soon. Bye, Instagram.